Good evening. I apologize for being a few minutes late. Had a couple last minute texts to get out of the way, put my phone over and do not disturb. Here we are. Hope everybody's had a great weekend and a great start to the week. Let's kick off a couple things. First, I want to get a little music playing. And normally I don't have my headphones going. So we're just gonna, you know, see how this goes. Mainly computer update. My Bluetooth driver isn't really working, so you know, just got to work with what we've got. Let me get a little music going here. Kind of set the pace. There we go. All right. So hopefully everything. Oh, and it looks like I did fix that message where it was inviting everybody to a webinar. Funny thing is, I'll probably I'll probably be setting up this again, private money, how to structure debt so that you can actually go out and start investing. Or maybe you're already investing, you're just looking to scale. So that's one of the things that I really want people to understand more. Not only how to leverage, but how to leverage responsibly. That's a key component. Looking back when Catherine and I started, I don't necessarily think that we were completely reckless. I know that and we got extremely lucky. Mainly, I was at the point to where I was not willing to fail. That meant that we didn't have the money to pay contractors. So I would take my time. I would finish work. I would go over to a and I would put YouTube watching the videos, how to change a light fixture, how to change a toilet kit, how to do these things, right? So I'm over here learning and growing. Not only did it teach me the operational knowledge of how to look for shortcuts and how to see if somebody's not doing quality work, but also it saved us the money because we didn't have the exposure. Um, Leveraging debt is crucial to get started, to be honest. I have people that reach out and they're asking, all right, well, I'd love to get started in real estate. How can I make that happen? I've got 5,000. Well, that's the tricky part. You can go over here and literally you can find a private money lender such as myself or any of the other hundreds of people out there that do this. And so long as you can strike the deal. Now the key is, and I'll tell you this, you're going to have to bring a deal. And I'm not talking just a property. I'm talking that the as is value needs to have strong equity, right? And then the rehab that you do to it needs to be fairly simple so that they can trust that you can handle it. And then needs to have a strong resale value. All that adds up as the right equity. To do that, the down payment that you need to bring, well, I can show you how to source that with other people. I can show you how to source that with a 401k if you have, or even a family member wants to lend the money for the down payment. These are all things that can be structured and set up so that you can get into your first deal. What's one deal without another? But I say that because I don't want you to stop at one deal. I want you to do five deals. I want you to do so many deals that eventually you start self funding, which means that you no longer need me. It's just that we've developed a relationship and you understand the power of scale at that. point to where you might not have to use me, but you decide that, hey, look, if I've now banked $100,000 sitting over here in this checking account, I can fund the deal myself. You'll still come to me because you might use 20,000 on this one, 20,000 on the next one, 20,000 on another one. And I can show you some different models that would allow that to get your ROI exponentially increased. To give you a quick teaser on this, because this is real estate after dark, I'll go ahead and explain that to you. Let's say that you take $100,000 and you turn around and you make $40,000. Right? You made a 40% return. 100, 40% return. It's pretty solid money. Let's say that you take 20,000, right? And you still make the 40,000, but less the expenses. Let's say holding costs, all these other things. Let's say that you came out making $30,000. All right. And example one, 100,000 to 140, that's a 40% ROI. 20,000 into 30,000, that's 150% ROI. That being said, 100,000 means that you can only do one deal. You're using 20,000 down, you can do 5 deals with that same $100,000. So those 5 deals with that 100,000 will make you 150, all scaled up, all eventually. There's gonna be some diminishing returns, there's gonna be some high reward. For all intents and purposes, understand that that is such a growth of your investment, right? That ROI is so strong whenever you understand the power of leverage and starting to scale that. So, what do you do now? 100 to 150? Yeah, it can happen. So, how do you make those deals happen? You have to get creative. You have to establish deal flow. And as those come in, you have to find somebody with the capital to deploy. And again, I do asset based loans. Asset based means that am I pulling your credit score? No. Will I be doing some checks to make sure that you don't have like certain judgments and things like that against you? Yes. Will you still sign a personal guarantee? Yes. I'm looking at the asset. I'm going to say, is this property worth it to where if they mess up, if this borrower does not perform, and I have to take this back, would I be happy to take this asset so that I could be confident that I would get my money back once I resell this? All right. Fairly straightforward stuff. Let's talk about a couple other things. And again, please jump in, drop your questions. Um, here is a link to go check out a free copy of a book that I wrote a couple years ago. And yeah, starting to get a little bored. I think I might kind of tweak it and put out another edition. I don't know. We'll see. There's, there's always something to do, right? Go ahead and get this over here. Oh no, you didn't. Oh, sir, sir, in my DMs saying that. Oh, look, just because you shaved your beard off doesn't mean the rest of us need to. Okay, and don't worry, you know who that is. So, let's see. You dirty son of a gun. All right, I'm closing out that tab. Up next, had a couple interesting loan requests come through. Had a couple deals that I'm looking at that are fairly interesting. There was one potential flip that we looked at. We got under contract, and I want to know if you've had this situation come up before. Please jump in, share a couple thoughts with it. Uh, there was a divorced couple, right, and one of the owners still living in the house. We go, we look at the property, strike the deal, go under contract, and they didn't want to take it. We were probably 15,000 apart. I was pretty firm on my numbers. If you know me, you know I usually am pretty firm on that. But we get under contract. During this time, we set up the title work, title goes and looks, and apparently one of the owners sold their interest in the property $3,000, I think 4 or 5 years ago. That came up, obviously. One of the owners was getting, I want to say it was like 80,000. Um, the other one was going to get 80,000. Except for this person sold their interest in the property. Well, I already kind of had a sense of what was going to happen. My expectation was the person that had bought half the interest of that sale for $3,000 or whatever that was, they're going to just take it. They're not going to sell. They want the property. So if I was a shrewd business person and I had that interest, especially at that leverage point, I'm going to flip that house. I'll go ahead and proceed with the sale and I'll buy the other owner's interest, right? Then I'll take the property and I'll flip it. It's just so much more upside. It was frustrating because that was going to be a six-figure flip. Well, they say you can't win them all. It's all right. Let me go back to the comments here. Yeah, Kathy she is still kind of bitter about that one. The other deal that I had uh, last week, it was a nice colonial style home, right? So it was about 2,500 square feet, two-story. Had some decent features. The really nice thing about it was still had the original hardwoods, and they just needed to be resurfaced. So that was going to be a really fun project. Still projected to make about six figures. Um, I had to get them down, right? So in negotiations, we're going back and forth. They were asking about 250, and that was about $120,000 more than it justified. Um, the rehab alone was going to be $100,000. But we started looking at that ARV and everything, and I told them I could give them 130. Kind of waiting to see if that person um, has one of those days, because sometimes you just have to wait, right? You go in, you put in the offer, it doesn't get accepted, you just follow up. We'll see what happens over the next week or two. But on the bright side, we've got a couple other projects coming up. Got someone that approached me for a loan that I'm really kind of looking forward to because this is going to be back in Shreveport, and it's going to be for a business, right? They're buying the building that their businesses are located in, and they shared with me kind of the plan of what they're going to do with that once they purchase it, and that's really exciting. Um, I did tell them that if we do this loan, we do this business. Part of my fees are that when I'm in town, I eat free, and they agreed. I don't know if they know what they signed up for because your boy can still put it away, especially whenever I'm back in Louisiana, where the food is it's southern food. So what do? You make up for it later when you get back. You try to eat a few salads, kind of balance it out, and just hope that the southern food doesn't just quite stick to the ribs whenever you get back home. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Yeah. All right. So contractors. Let's talk about that. And before I get off into this subject, I will say this isn't a dig at any particular contractor. So if you're doing bids on my jobs, or if you're actually working on some of my jobs, it's not against you. This has been just a sore subject for a number of investors from the past week or two. Seems like it's just really kind of reached this point of frustration for a lot of I had a contractor that, had reached out asking if I'm looking for any work right now or if I have any work. They're looking. So I gave him one of the rental properties that we just bought. Hey, look, here's a scope of work. Go over there, give me a bid on it. Let's see what we got. And it's been a little slow in getting that going back and forth because some of it they're not comfortable with, some they are. So just working on that the whole time. What I think a lot of people don't realize is until I say yes and we sign the contract, we're going to do this. I'm open to other bids. So if another contractor comes up, they bid, I like their bid, I like the work, well, you snooze, you lose. And in investing, it happens to us the same way. That's really it. So, do we have any questions from the peanut gallery? Not, wind it down. Uh, for reference, next week, I still plan on doing a real estate after dark. And the following week, we will be out of state. So, I'm go ahead and throw this up here as well. Somebody wants to jump in. We do still have the school community. It's right there. I've got courses, content, all of those things about real estate investing, videos that I've recorded over the years to teach some of the different strategies that we use to enjoy to this day. You can get you a free week trial. Go in there, learn some content if that's something that is of interest to you, and yeah, hopefully it helps. Past that, let's see. Yeah, I've got a couple investors that have brought or committed some extra funds to me, so I've got about a half a million right now that I need to put to work for them. If you have a deal, particularly a flip, or if you're buying a rental or something to that effect, and you need some short-term funding, typically 6 to 9, maybe up to 12 months, but I typically like to keep it around that 6 month benchmark on the loans, then let me know. I've got a quick 5-minute form you fill out. I'll take some information on the loan. I'll look at it. If it's business, great. If not, no harm, no foul. Let's see. Got that, spoke about that. Cool. Um, that really seems to be everything. Oh, lastly, an investor that I was speaking with yesterday, I had a bad experience with a perceived business partner. It's just that they didn't have the expectations. They weren't happy with how it went. They separated their ways. One of the things that I'll tell you, if you're looking at doing business with someone, if you're looking at partnering or doing anything in any professional capacity, get in writing, get an operating agreement, outline who does what. Because when you're dating, it's perfectly fine. It's just whenever you get ready to break up, that's when it gets messy. You need to have something in writing that shows who is responsible for what and what the repayment terms is, what equity splits are, everything that goes with that particular relationship in business. Think of it as a prenup, right? Uh, as long as you go in there and you both do what you do, then you'll probably have a long, prosperous business relationship. I want that. If it doesn't, then you're at least grateful that you have an operating agreement to protect yourself. So that's really it. All right. I don't see any other comments or anything, so I'm going to go ahead and wind it down. I can always talk to myself off screen, so if nobody's got comments. Just talk to myself on screen. All right. Hope you all have an amazing week. And if you are watching this and it's not live, just drop a comment. You know, I appreciate you asking your questions. I'll try to take notifications, get back to it. Have a great week.